Yo, what up? What up? We back. Warriors basketball is back. First preseason game versus the Clippers, and it was a pretty good outing for the Warriors. Lindy Waters hit a game winner, which went down to the wire. He looked like Kobe out there. It looked like prime Ray Allen, but it was a pretty good game though. The starting lineup was solid. It was Steph, DeAnthony Melton, Kaminga, Draymond, and Trace Jackson. And gotta talk about the starting lineup because it was a little bit of some spacing issues. You can blame the bad 3-point shooting on Russ because they were still trying to get back in the groove of things. But they played fast. They played good Warriors basketball, which is fast, getting shots up tempo, transition. And this is what the young guys are for. This is what Kaminga, this is what Moses Moody, Brandon Pozinski, those is what those guys are for. But let's get into the game in general. So, not really a good shooting game, but the starters only played the first half, and they played hard. Like they played like it was the first basketball that they played in a while. Steph had a pretty good game. The regular Steph Curry games. It wasn't hitting much, but he did hit 1 3. So I think it was 1 3. I'm not really too sure. The Anthony Melton, he was playing scrappy. And then you had Kaminga, he was getting to the paint. And then Draymond, he was paired with Trace Jackson. I think he needs to be a little bit more aggressive on his shot, but that's for another day. First preseason game, so you can't put too much into that. And then Trace Jackson, not the best of games, but we're gonna chalk it up to being the first preseason game. He was matched up with Zubac, and with Trace being 6'10", 6'9", and Zubac being 7 feet, you know, Zubac was getting into the paint, putting up his hook shot, and Trace really couldn't do too much about it. So that's that. But one thing that Trace impacted the game on was speed. And with this Warriors team, in contrast to last year, you need speed. And with Chris Paul not being here, you're gonna have a faster team and a team that gets up and down the court and rely on the young guys to do so. As far as the bench, you had Kyle Anderson. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. And what he did is played the power forward spot. He got some shots up. The shot looks a little different. Still looks a little bit the same. He didn't make a three from what I seen. He didn't make a three from what I recall. But he played the game, got his floaters, directed traffic, played smart IQ basketball. So you can't really ask too much from Kyle Anderson on that. As far as Brandon Pozinski, he pushed the pace, pushed the tempo. And then Buddy Hield, he got his shots up. Didn't really make a lot, but the whole team in general couldn't make nothing, but they were still playing Warriors basketball. The defense has a lot more potential than last year from what I can see. Because with those lineups, I think the defense might be a little bit better than last year, in my opinion. But yeah, the one person that did show out besides Lindy Waters was Moses Moody. Lindy Waters and Moses Moody, they stole the show, in all honesty. Now, Moses Moody, he was the 11th man to come off and come into the game. And he showed out, you know what I'm saying? Like, he did his thing. He came in, made an impact. I'm hoping he continues to do so for Steve Kerr's hand and, make Steve Kerr play him to either be a starter or to carve a nice 15, 20-minute role in the roster, you know what I'm saying? And then Lenny Waters, he did his thing. he's known for shooting, so he did his role. I'm hoping that he can fill the Damian Lee role, which is a shooting guard that comes off the bench, lights it up, plays good defense, and then, goes back to the bench and be a good energizer. So he did his role. And as far as Kevin Looney, he looks pretty good. Looks light on his feet. Looks like he lost a couple of pounds. Hit a nice jump shot when he had a little post up or a face post. So he did his thing. And as far as the back end of the roster, Quentin Post, who else? Quentin Post, Kevin Knox, and Reese Beekman. You can't really grade them on this game because they only played the second half. Now, once they get into the third or fourth game and the starters don't play much or most of the game, then you can start to grade them. But as far as the back end of the roster, they try to get their shots up the limited time that they did have. Quentin Post only played the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken, or he played the back end of the third quarter and spot minutes of the fourth quarter, and he missed a couple of threes like the whole team did. As soon as the ball touched his hand, he was getting it up out of there. Same thing with Kevin Knox. He missed the dunk, and he was aggressive. And Reese Beekman and Pat Spencer, they were being the ball handlers that they were supposed to be. So can't really ask too much out of them. And it was just a pretty good game all around. Good Warriors basketball. But a couple of things as far as the roster construction and lineup construction as well is that you want Kuminga to be a little bit better of a shooter. Even though it's the first preseason game, you want him to be comfortable out there doing the catch and shoot threes, no hesitation type of shots. And then second is that for that forward spot, that stretch forward that can be a two-way, kind of like Otto Porter Jr., you need that. You really do need that because without that, the roster is a missing link. You can't play some of the certain lineups that you want to play. And in my opinion, I think that Kevin Knox is the best answer for that. That's just my opinion. If they're not going to trade for that type of player, then Kevin Knox is the best answer for that. You could say Daquan Plowden if they would have kept him, but Daquan Plowden is only 6'6", 6'5", something like that. So I think Kevin Knox is the best answer. Not really much of a scorer, but he could definitely shoot, space the floor, and he can defend at above average level. Quentin Post, he had a nice game. If he might have a role on this team, depending on what Steve Kerr decides to do. Lindy Waters looking like prime Ray Allen out there, so shout out to him. Might be the replacement Splash, bro. Nah, I'm just playing. But yeah, man, definitely a good game, definitely a fun game. Next game is on Wednesday, so I might have a breakdown of that. Might do a video breakdown, but leave a like and subscribe if you feel inclined, and we'll probably be back next Wednesday or this Wednesday coming up.